Hello, this is Jolie with Crochet Basics, and in this episode we're going to make a Rasta Tam, a cute hat, super cute for winter and fall, perfect with homespun. This time around we're going to use some homespun, so I totally hit the craft store today and made out like a bandit. Save up your coupons, totally worth it, you know? So anyway, with this one, super simple. It's a beginner project actually, I would say, because it works up pretty fast, you know? What you need is, we're gonna do it in homespun, so your choice, whatever color you like. And you don't need more than one skein, you're not even gonna use a full skein. And you need two different size hooks. So we're using two hooks. We're using a K hook, which is a US size K, it's 10.5, and it's a 6.5 millimeter hook. And we're also gonna use a J hook, which is a size 10, and it's a 6 millimeter hook. So not too much of a difference in our hook sizes. A scissor, a tape measure. If you want a stitch marker, you know, for when we finish off or whatever, and a yarn needle, is optional. You can always weave in with your hook, but a plastic yarn needle just kind of makes it easier. So let's get this going. And starting with your K hook, your bigger hook. And this color, I don't know if the camera will show it. It's like a fuchsia. And it's got blues and purples in it. It's called ambrosia, which ambrosia, the dessert, does not look like this, but okay. Anyway, and with the homespun, I always suggest, because it's a double wrapped yarn, because it has the fiber, the cotton, the smaller, thinner fiber, I always suggest when you get started, just to keep it nice and neat, is to make a little knot, and it just keeps it nice and neat. So, let me adjust. Okay, so leave yourself a little bit of a tail so that you can crochet around it. Not a big deal. If you need to see a slip knot, you wrap it. Wait, yeah, okay. Wrap it, pull your loose one around, and then you pull it tight, and that's how you make a slip knot to start. I don't really start with a slip knot, so if you do, that's fine. And I don't really think, if you want, you could do the magic ring with this, but it might get caught up because it's a bulky yarn. You might have to like tug to make it work out. So your choice. All right, so starting, we're gonna chain 4 in the bigger hook. 3, 4, and your chaining is gonna count as a double crochet. So you're gonna do 9 double crochet in the first chain that you made, the furthest one from the hook. So if you need to see a double crochet, you would wrap once, go through, you'll pull up a loop, you have 3, you'll pull through some more yarn, you'll pull through 2 loops, back to 2, and then another 2 loops. So you'll do 9 of these. And you'll hold your tail to your first string, and that makes it easier to close up that first loop. We did 9, and our chaining counts as our first double crochet. So you'll pull that tight, and it closes up that loop. Perfect for us, and it also saves on weaving in later on. So from this point, you're going to slip into the first chain that you made, and you're going to chain 3. So you'll just pull up a loop, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go right back in and do another double crochet. Or you'll do your first double crochet, but your chain counts as double crochet. So in each one around, for this row, row 2, you're going to do 2 double crochets in each. So you should end up with 20 double crochets. That's including your chain. So we got our 20 in, and we're going to slip into the first chains made. Chain 3, 2, 3. Go right back in and do a double crochet. Alright, so for this next one, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next, and then 2 in the one after that. And you'll repeat that all the way around. So you should end up with 30 double crochets. And after that, you'll slip stitch right into the first chain that you made. And chain 3. Okay, so from here, we're going to increase more. But if you feel, this is like a side note or what have you, because I had people comment on another pattern that I did. If you feel that it's getting too bulky, it might just be because all of your increases are, you know, boom, 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 like, you know, in a row. So if you feel like it's getting, like it's wonky, or it's not, you know, sitting like flat, more or less, you skip a row of increase and do 1 row regular and then continue the increases, okay? So it just spaces, you know, if you space out your increases, then it'll lay, it'll grow slower than like that, okay? So it'll go, like it'll stay flatter longer if you space out your increases. So you might have to do that, you know, it's optional. It all depends on how you feel like, you know, your hat's working up, okay? But so far, you know, mine's working up pretty well. So I'm just gonna keep increasing until I get to the amount I need. So for this one, row 4, right? 1, 2, 3, we're on row 4. You're gonna go right back in and do another double crochet into the first one, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet in the next one, 1 double crochet in the one after that, and then 2 in the one in the stitch after that. And then you'll repeat that all the way around, of course. So far we're at 40 stitches around, so we're doing good. And we'll do another increase row, and we'll keep this going. So you'll go right back in to where you slip stitched, and you'll do another double crochet, and then you'll do 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 in your next, and you'll repeat that all the way around. So you should have 50, okay, by row 5. You should have 50, unless you skipped, you know, a row of increase to do a regular row, so you wouldn't have that then. All right, so you'll slip again into your chains. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, what did I just do here? Okay, let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, and you'll go right back in and do a double crochet in the same spot. So from here you got your first 2 done, and you'll do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then 2 in the one after that, and you'll repeat that around the row, and you should end up with 60 stitches, 60 double crochet after this row. All right, so you should have 60 now. And at this point, we're not going to increase any further. We're just going to work double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And remember, your chain counts as your first double crochet. And you'll do this, normally I do about 12 rows, including the increase or what have you in the double crochet with the K-hook. So, if you want it longer, so this is 12 rows of the double crochet. And then the bottom is the finishing, so that doesn't count. But from here up, and usually, I know it may sound silly, but measuring tapes are always our friend. And I usually just try to have it about 10 inches or so. I always think is good because with these types of hats, unless you're doing a custom, custom, unless you're going to make this custom for somebody or whatever, and you want it a little shorter, a little longer, what have you. Because, the way they're worn, the way these are worn, they hang off of the back of your head, So the more, if you're being trendy, if you're wearing this to be trendy, the more, rows, the longer it is, the heavier it'll be on your head and hanging off. The back of your head, because it's kind of worn similar to like a snood, if you know what that is. So not everybody does, but it's worn further back on the head and not necessarily like a traditional hat. Okay, so from here we'll do 12 rows in the double crochet. We'll do 6 more rows of the double crochet, and then I'll show you how to finish it off. So from row 7 to 12, 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And you should have 60. And if you feel 12 rows is too much, then stop at 10, stop. You don't have to make it as big as I'm making it. And if you want, at this point, you don't have to. But this is always, I always say just to make it easier, what have you. If you want, since we're not increasing or any kind of thing anymore, you can add a stitch marker, and then you'll, or a contrasting piece of yarn. And then you won't have to start, like if you have to count, you won't be like 1, 2, 3. You could be like, all right, here's my increase ends, and from there. All right, so let's get this going. And then I'll show you how to finish it off. We got our 10 to 12 rows of double crochet in. So from this point, and it's pretty big, it fans out pretty wide. So as far as that's concerned, because it is an oversized hat, it's meant to be worn. If you're gonna wear it for fashion, it's gonna be worn off of the back of your head, So it's meant to be a larger hat for that reason. Anywho. So from this point, if you want, you can add a stitch marker because we're changing stitches. And just to, keep your place or what have you. And we're going to switch to a half double crochet. And we're also going to switch our hook. So if you just want to mark where you did your chain from the previous row, then you'll know where you're at either way. So with your J hook, which is, with your J hook, it's a size 10, US size 10, and it's a 6-point hook. So we're gonna chain 2, and from here, we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch. So if you don't know, which you kind of should if you just did the double crochet, all right, you'll wrap your hook, you'll push it through, you'll pull up a loop, you have 3, right? And then you'll pull through all 3. And because it's a smaller, it's a shorter stitch, and that's why I just said to mark it. So because you might get a little bit lost, not really, but you might lose your place. So you'll do a half double crochet in each stitch for the next 2 rows. And you can use your tape measure, like if you were unsure if you want it longer, go ahead and add a couple of more rows of double crochet in before you, do the finishing rim. And also, if you feel, that it's still too big, after finishing these 2 rows of half double crochet in the smaller hook, you can always do another row and drop a couple of stitches. You know, not too big of a deal. After you got your 2 rows of half double crochet in, just do one finishing row, one last row of single crochet all the way around, and it does bring the hat in a bit from, you know, the double crochet. So you'll pull a tail, you'll cut, you'll weave in, all that good stuff. On the first one that we did, you crocheted. Remember, we crocheted around, so we'll pull that tight and we'll just make a tiny little knot, and that'll stay in place. You won't have to worry about that because you crocheted around it, and it'll be nice and tight. Okay? Snip that off, not a big deal. So, this is it. Let's see if I show you. This is what it looks like. And you would wear it, you know, a little further back with some hair pulled down if you like, you know. Make it look fun and chic, so to speak. And that's how it turned out for me. So hopefully it turned out just as good for you. And, you know, if you feel it's a little too big or a little, you know, too wide around the brim, you can always drop a couple of stitches, not a big deal. And when you wear it further back, if I've seen people, you know, pin them on with a little barrette or a little bobby pin and such, you know, and then it's homespun. So more or less, you could just throw it right in the washer and dryer. It fluffs up perfect, not a big deal. Super, super cool. So I hope you like making this. If you have any questions, please ask. Please comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope you come back for my next tutorial. And I hope you like making this. As always, happy hooking, because it keeps you off the streets, keeps you out of trouble. Thank you so much for watching, and have a super great day. Thanks again. Crochet Basics, Jolie. Bye.